Hey guys, Sean here with part 3 of UX design. If you missed any of the other videos, the first one where we talk about what UX design is, or the second one where we talk about the UX design strategy, make sure you click on the playlist and look at videos 1 and 2 before you watch this one. In part 1, we talked about what UX design was. We gave the definition, the benefits, and also why it's critically important for you to incorporate UX design into whatever it is you're designing, whether it be a landing page, a mobile app, a website, even your brochures, your corporate video, sales presentations. User-centric design is critical for your brand. And so that was part 1. Part 2, we talked about a 6-point strategy or 6-step strategy that we've incorporated at Butler. In recap, we do these 6 steps: preliminary brainstorm. Step 2 is our user stories, building out personas and mapping out the user's journey. Step 3, we do a competitive audit, looking for industry standards, if there are any industry standards. Step 4 is the prioritization exercise, where we look at revenue, awareness, and efficiency, and we gauge that based off of urgency and impact. Requirements list is now, in light of everything, what is the list of all the things that are required for the piece that we're designing? And this is what we're talking about right now, is step 6, information architecture. How do you actually translate all this information into a design? UX design is a science, and it's also an art. This is the art part. So information architecture, this is basically compiling, labeling, organizing, laying out all of the pieces of information that a design needs to incorporate in order to give an ideal user experience. And so right here, I just made a makeshift requirements list based off of a lot of what we found when dealing with landing pages. We're going to design a landing page, a wireframe of a landing page, and a wireframe is the most basic form of information architecture. This is really how a lot of our wireframes start. We just start on the whiteboard because you can easily quickly edit and erase and tweak, and I might have 3 or 4 different wireframes, and then I'll translate that or transfer that to my sketchbook, and then if needed we'll do a more professional looking version in Photoshop, Illustrator. You could use a software like Balsamic to create really professional wireframes. But this is basically how it starts, the wireframe on the whiteboard. And so this requirements list contains, we need brand identification. And so again, we're making a landing page here, and the point of this landing page is conversion. But again, in our first video, we talked about conversion isn't really the point. It's how can we add value to our users to where they see enough reason to give their contact information over to us. And so what we found in our audit is that it wasn't clear what brand they're identifying with, and so we want to have a clear brand identification. We also found out that in our old landing page, there was too much content, or too much written content rather, and it wasn't very clear how to find the information or to figure out what the point of the landing page was. The client was trying to explain too much in one page, and so when it's like highlighting every word and every sentence on the page in a book, then nothing stands out. And so we found out, you know what, we actually have to have really clear visual engagement, clear and concise value proposition. I mean, what is the value we're proposing that we're adding to our users? We also found out that our users needed social proof. They wanted to make sure that it worked for other people, and so we want to have maybe testimonials or maybe symbols of trust of big brands that have trusted us to interact with. A clear call to action. A lot of landing pages have too many calls to action. To put your name here, sign up for our newsletter, give us a call, whatever it is. There's maybe too much going on, and so we want to have a clear call to action. But what we found is that most of our users didn't find us valuable enough to give us their contact information because we weren't adding value to them. And so we put on this requirements list value added services that we're going to provide to our users. And so a UX designer would look at this requirements list and just kind of take a step back and think, okay, these are all the pieces of the puzzle that I need to put together. What is a good way that I can lay this out in a design? And so I'm just going to give you just an example. So brand identification in the Western world, we typically read top to bottom, left to right. And so a very standard thing is to have maybe our logo in the top left, logo or our business name in the top left. And the purpose of this landing page is not to have them linked to a bunch of other content. So instead of having our main navigation at the top like we would have on the rest of our web pages, we would just have our logo at the top. We're not going to have links to other pages, just to keep it very simple. Visual engagement. So our last landing page was maybe too text heavy. So in this one, we want to make it very visual. So we have a picture, maybe, of something that's very applicable to whatever it is we're proposing. And not only do we have a picture, we have a clearly stated value proposition right here. Well, I'll just get rid of the quotation marks. So we add value to you by doing X, and it's just a very simple, carefully crafted sentence so that we can, where is it, right here, clear, concise value proposition, visual engagement, and we're just checking things off the list. We got our brand identification, social proof. We might have works for these guys, and then maybe have a couple testimonials, maybe as a scroller, or maybe we'll have some logos of, these people have tried it, and they might be recognizable household names that have tried our service or whatever. And so this is social proof. This is saying, this is overcoming the objection of, does this work? Has this worked for other people? So we're basically answering several questions within the first few seconds. We're saying, who we are, what we do, does this work for you? Yes, it does. And then what action to take. And so we need to have a clear call to action. So how can we do this? Well, I think that the clear call to action and the value added could go together. And so what we determined for this client is we're not just going to say, hey, we're so awesome, you should give us your contact information. The whole purpose of this landing page is to say, you know what, it doesn't matter about us. Here's your pain point. We actually created a white paper that explains how to alleviate all the frustration and pain that you've been experiencing. And we title this white paper something that's very compelling and clear to you. You understand exactly what this is. And that's actually what led you here to this landing page. And this value proposition is going to say very easily this is a 10-step guide to alleviate whatever pain point you have. And they say, yes, I want that. And so we're going to actually, right here on the front of the page, maybe put like a lead capture, which is, put your name, your email, and submit. Maybe a promise that we're not going to sell your information to anybody else. And we're going to say, here's a picture of the white paper, and then download it here by putting your name and email address. And so now we're adding value to them. We have a clear call to action. We've given social proof. We have a clear, concise value proposition in the white paper, brand identification, visual engagement, and this is just one comp. Okay, so this is how that can be translated from into a landing page. Now we might do 2 or 3 different versions of this, but this is just an example of one. You might test one out. You might actually create 2 or 3 different landing pages and figure out which one's converting more. And this is all part of the UX design process, is testing, measuring, gauging what works best for you. So if this was helpful for you, please let us know in the comments. If you have any other questions, let us know in the comments, or you could always reach out to butlerbranding.com and get a hold of us that way.